Welcome back to Buckets, WNBA edition. I am your host, Jim Turvey. It is a Tuesday, so you know what that means. We got Dano Mataya in the house. Dano, how's it going? We finally had some WNBA basketball. We're going to get into best bets. We're going to get into weekend stuff, but how you doing? I haven't seen you in a minute here.
I'm doing fantastic. It's good to be back in Texas after some traveling for work. The WNBA is back. All the good, the bad, the ugly. It is so fun. It's so nice to have games every night. I'm glad that we even had one recording this on a Monday night. Like, glad we had Storm Wings. It was ugly as hell in the second half, but Casher minus 3.5 is beautiful. So it's just good to have great hoop on all summer. The NBA is winding down, and I feel like a lot of bets from all the cappers are doing very well too to start. So, and the markets that were being offered, kind of across the board, is just pretty abundant. So it's good to have.
Yeah, it is really great, and that's actually a perfect transition. So if you're listening to this already, and you know that obviously the season's tipped off, if you aren't an Action Pro subscriber, you should definitely get in there. This first weekend was, you mentioned it for cappers in general. Myself personally, over 25% ROI. You want to make sure you get that pro subscription. You get those notifications earlier, all in the Action app. We're going to be giving out bets here, but we're going to post them first in the app. So obviously you want to get that. The lines move quick. There are more markets. There's a little more liquidity now, which is great, but they do still move really fast, especially when those things get posted. So if you're looking for edge betting sides, totals, I know Kerner is starting to get ready. I was in the Action Discord the other day. He was talking through how he likes to see a game for every team. I believe he hit his first player prop tonight, which is sweet. Maddie Segrest over her points. He was talking through some totals and sides that were looking good in the Discord there as well. So obviously you want to be there. If you aren't an Action Pro subscriber yet, you can get $20 off an annual subscription right now. Just go to actionnetwork.com/pro to sign up. You get $20 off the annual subscription price at actionnetwork.com/pro. So with that, Dano, we're gonna talk takeaways, but we gotta give the people the best bets first. So what are your best bets for Tuesday?
Besides the fact that no one can read an ad better than Jim Turvey, I am going to take the Indiana Fever minus 7.5, and then I'm going to take Alicia Gray over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Excellent. I love that. We will jokingly rib you about Alicia Gray later. We have another segment coming up that will debut this week. I think people should have a little bit of fun with. My Tuesday best bets: Marina Mabrey over 16.5 points. Tina Charles under 27.5 points plus rebounds. And I'm also on the Fever. I'm going to take them first half specific, minus 3.5, just to give you a different look, but I'm with Dano on liking the spread as well. So Dano, talk to me about your two best bets, and then I'll give some thoughts on mine over here.
I think with the Fever, I think they're a wagon. I can't believe this has moved to 7.5. Maybe there's something I don't know. Granted, if the Dream shoot 60% from three, sure, it's going to be a tough out, but God, the game is in Cambridge. I think we know how good the crowd is.
Dan, you're just poking the bear, Dano. You're just poking the bear.
I'm saying this team is special, and I feel like they're only going to continue to get better. I don't think Chicago is that bad, and busting them by 35 is definitely a statement. Meanwhile, I think the Dream are still learning a system, and we're seeing some players thrive in that, and others not so much. And I just think Dream they played really fast against the Mystics. I think that feeds right into the Fever style. They get up and go, but they're also great in the half court. So, it could get ugly. I feel like this is also like why are we not betting the over on this game too? I know it's getting close to 170, but two teams that are going to shoot a lot of threes, get a lot of layups, and they can run on Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones for sure. So I love it.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on your second player prop there. You mentioned that it's a new system for the Dream. They're kind of working everyone's working in the new system. Some players adjusting well, others not as well. I'm guessing Gray is one that popped for you as really adjusting pretty quickly there because you're on her over PRA for Tuesday too.
Yeah, and I feel like her usage rate has been pretty solid. It was solid last year, but she's kind of cemented herself as, one of the top 5 probably two-way players in the league. So I feel like, she had 25 points alone in the last game out. I think she had 19 in the first quarter or something ridiculous. Maybe it was the first half, but started the game with 3 threes. She's going to get opportunities, going to get looks if she stays out of foul trouble. I feel like this is a great opportunity to buy at this number until it starts to get up to 30, before the game.
Yeah, I really like that look. For my props, I'll start with the Fever because I'm on the Fever with you as well. A lot of what you said, absolutely. I mean, it's one game, and I think we got to see with Chicago, especially the offense there. But the Fever defense was what kind of popped to me. Like
Yeah, you're right.
I was talking about how I don't believe this Fever defense could be a top half of the league unit. They kind of looked like it. Aaliyah Boston had 5 blocks. Caitlin had 4 blocks. If Caitlin's getting 4 blocks, Aaliyah's getting 5 blocks. The Fever aren't losing many games. On the flip side, Atlanta, like you said, they're working in a new scheme. I do like that they're taking threes, but at times, especially with Ryan Howard, a little frustrating. Like 14 shots, 12 of them threes, not a lot of them dropping. You want to see a little bit more from her. I want to see a little bit more. I think she's a good player, but she seems like she's kind of stalled out. It could just be a new coach every year. It's really hard to kind of adjust it, every single year getting a new coach. So I'm going to give them some time, but that's the point. They haven't gotten that time just yet. I think first half in particular, this -3.5 number really jumped out at me, as potentially to get them without having to worry about a backdoor cover with an Atlanta Dream team that loves to shoot the three. So you got, they're down 15 in the fourth. Couple folks come out, they hit a couple threes, and then it's like, oh, we got hooked. So I think I'll go first half in particular on that. But I definitely am with you on the full game. Just wanted to give a different look there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel super square just saying, oh yeah, let's bet Caitlin Clark's team -7.5.
It's amazing to me that the market is letting us be insanely square and just bet the Fever. But I did a game 1, cleared by $1 million, and now we're getting the market's coming back against it again. I don't see this. On Friday's episode, we're actually gonna have Michael Fiddle on, who's like the market expert. He's always watching where these things going. I know the first 6 games, if you bet with the market, you were 0-6. So I think maybe it's starting to level out a little bit the last couple games. I want to talk to him about that and see what he thinks. Insanely small sample, of course, but that is just something interesting to note. My next one, I've got Marina Mabrey over 16.5 points. Played the first game and lost. I'm back. I'm gonna try it again. But, I mean, the first game, she had 21 field goal attempts. A kind of comical amount of field goal attempts. She just couldn't buy a bucket. She had 8 threes. She made 1. She had a lot of good looks. She barely got to the free throw line. So she took 13 shots inside the arc and took 1 free throw. I don't think that's typical for her either. She had 11 in the game. This Aces defense really isn't what it once was, especially in the perimeter. They allowed the Liberty get up 32 threes in the season opener. I think Mabrey's going to be chucking all season. I think she's here for really one reason only. It's, to get a look as the focal point of an offense and put up some stats. And if she can do a little winning, if that means more money for her on next contract, I think that's what she's hoping for. She got 35 minutes. And kind of to a point that you and I were talking about before the game, I think the Sun are going to keep this somewhat close. I'm with you on leaning towards the Sun side on the spread, especially if the Aces keep taking money. So I think that the under is usually what you'd want if it's a blowout, right? Like she's sitting the whole fourth quarter because the Aces are up 30 or something. I think this will be a single digit game down the stretch, and so I think she'll be in there with a full chance to get a good minutes load. I heard you react to it. Are you with me on Mabrey here?
Yeah, absolutely. After that game,
pissed off Mabrey too. Yeah,
100%. Can't bet that fast enough.
And I've got Tina Charles.
I'll ladder it too. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna run back the ladder. I'm definitely running back the ladder. Then I've got Tina Charles under 27.5 points plus rebound. So Tina Charles had a great first game. She had 23 and 10. She kept throwing down the little 2-finger sign. She was fully in her bag. This is a much tougher opponent. We talked about Aces maybe aren't the defense they once were. You know who is, though? The defender they once were, Asia Wilson. And Tina Charles has really struggled. She's only cleared this line once in her last 6 games against the Aces in this Asia matchup in particular. And that was by a single point. It was she went 19 and 9. If you look at last season, her line should be about 24.5. And I do think she'll have a little bit of a bigger role on this Sun team, ironically, than she did last year on the Dream, even though she is, getting up there. But this is a much tougher opponent than, kind of your standard one on a 1-to-1 level with Asia being the matchup. She averaged 9.5 points, 10 rebounds last year against the Aces. So I'm gonna zag off of the really hot start from Tina. Probably be playing a fair amount of Tina overs this year, but I think the number got inflated off of one game, and then the matchup's really high overall. So those are our best bets. We're going to introduce a section though here. This is going to be a me and Dano thing. We're not doing with the guests. This is just for me and Dano. We're doing a little game of Survivor. We're going to see who can pick a number, a bet. It has to be minus 1,000 or shorter. So you can bet a really juicy number. But we're just going to see who can survive the longest, going back and forth each week, each Tuesday, picking a bet minus 1,000 or longer or shorter. Apologies, really struggling with the long and short here. So Dano, we're rolling back a name of a player who you once said, I believe, that Arike Agumbuwale was better than this player, but now you're giving me two best bets for Alicia Gray in the same episode. Talk to me.
Yeah, for one, I did say Arike was a better player than Alicia Gray. It's like, I mean, I've said some dumb shit. Excuse my language, everybody listening to this. Sorry to your kids. But that's one of the dumbest takes I've ever had. I'm so out on Arike by a mile. But I think Alicia Gray to get 10 points at minus 670. I love this segment. It's so funny. Like, granted, I feel much better about that than like Joe Lloyd is like minus 750 to get 10 points.
She went
I don't trust that.
MIA. Did she even hit that game one?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Alicia Gray is one of the, and so I'll talk about mine. I've got Caitlin. I'm doing a super basic. We gave out Fever and now I'm giving out Caitlin 15 plus points at minus 630. But you want those high floor players. So in her last 27 games in the WNBA for Caitlin, and it's arbitrary cutoff, but we know that they started with that really tough schedule and there was an adjustment period. So I don't think it's like partially arbitrary, but partially she's just grown to adjust the league. She's only missed this once in those 27 games. And that miss was she went for 13 in a blowout loss on the road against the Aces. This is at home. The Dream are not the Aces, and this is year 2. I think Caitlin gets to this with ease. And the best part is I think she has a really high floor. Her points prop is only 20.5, which is what's keeping this in that like minus 630 range instead of like minus 20,000 or whatever sometimes you'll see on these alternate markets here. But you get the threes too. If she hits 3 threes again, then she just needs 6 points elsewhere. So I'm going Caitlin 15 plus points. We'll see who can survive longer, me or Dan. It'll be really funny if one of us crashes and burns week 1. But I'm hoping we can do this. I'm hoping we can last a couple months. I mean, if we're giving out like minus 630 type stuff, we theoretically could go a couple months in the season with this Survivor. We'll have to see how good we are at this low game I concocted here.
I mean, it would be on brand for me to lose this type of thing and have
They're tricky. They're trickier than you think because it's like
I gotta buy an idol to get back in.
Yeah, in honor of Survivor, with the finale coming up in 2 days, we have the Survivor game taking its place on Buckets WNBA. So with that, let's go into kind of our longer segment here. So we'll touch on some bets here, but this is kind of just our big takeaways from opening weekend. Got to overreact here a little bit. Got to give some takes here and there on what we've seen on the first weekend. And Dano and I were talking a little bit, what was popping, what was standing out to us from this weekend. And it just so happened, mine skewed. I was like, I liked what I saw from this team. And Dano was like, I kind of hated what I saw from this other team. I was like, I kind of liked what. So we're going to do, I'm talking 3 teams that I liked. Dano's talking 3 teams that he didn't like. Do we want to go, Dano? Do you want to go first or second? Do we do good news, bad news? Which should we do first?
Let's alternate. You go first.
Okay. So my first takeaway, let's start at the very top. I think the Liberty are like in a tier of their own. And before the season, I thought that tier was 2, if not 3 teams, with a couple of teams kind of right below. I now think New York is in their own tier. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One, I don't want to overreact to one game, but you and I were texting about this before the game started. I thought this was like the perfect game I kept hearing how pissed off the Aces were. The Liberty really, honestly, kind of get in their own heads against the Aces at times. And it seems like better roster Liberty teams have lost to less good roster Aces teams because of kind of like mental edges in the past. That was not there. I think this team is just better. I think that the getting the championship off their back is kind of this mental weight that they are free of now. But maybe the biggest thing is Natasha Cloud, man. What a debut. I mean, I tweeted this out to doing the thing where I just repeat my tweet on a podcast, like the most 2025 male thing to do of all time. But is she already like the favorite player for like most Liberty fans? She might be my favorite player on the team already. The crowd loved her. Stewie and Sab. I mean, Stewie had a solid game, but like they can take lesser roles if Cloud can kind of do this in these big games. Such a perfect fit. The threes were flowing. They wouldn't even get a good game from Leonie Fibic, but there's depth now. Like Niara Sabli stepping into her own, Maureen Johannes. There's depth here. This to me is the best
Kennedy
team
Burke.
in the WNBA. I have some worries clearly about the Aces. I was kind of out on them before the season. This game did not do anything to change my mind there. Little bit more subtly, I'm a little bit worried about the Minnesota Lynx. The Kayla McBride, each game that she misses, and I really hope things are, whatever is going on that is keeping her out, I really hope that is okay. But it's a little worrying, and I think that she is a really essential piece. We've already seen Alana Smith miss a game. Now she did return, which was big, and they've looked good. But I'm a little bit on alert with them, combined with how good this Liberty team looked. I think that they have to be in a tier of their own. What you watched the game, we talked about it. You nailed it. You said your initial reaction was Aces, and then you thought more about it, and you said, no, this is going to be a Liberty game. So are you with me in having this as the title favorite right now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we should be. We won it last year, and I mean, I definitely put some money on them to win it at +2 something. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, like being a fan of the Liberty and being in New York the last 4 or 5 years, like that was a typical spot where the Liberty would lose on like 100%. It would be such a Lib thing to do, and then I'm like, you know what? No, it's the Aces. Like this is not the same Aces that have been dangling the carrot in front of us. We took the carrot. We're better than them, and they got worse. Like, I mean, I said it when they made the trade. Like, Jewel Lloyd is not Kelsey Plum. Jewel Lloyd's a free throw merchant when it works, and she's an inefficient shooter. People are like, she's a good defender. Well, you haven't watched the tape. I just don't see it. They have the same problem from last year, and that's the depth issue. Megan Gustafson's still hurt. Like, if they trot out Liz Kitley for a couple minutes, that's nice. I just don't. If they get in foul trouble, they could lose some. Like, they could lose to some random teams. Granted, Asia, has the best whistle in the WNBA. She's never going to get in foul trouble. But I just thought Liberty on both sides of the ball were fantastic. I mean, Jackie hit some threes to keep it close, but Liberty, for the most part, were in control. It got a little dicey in the fourth, but you said Stewie was all right. I thought Stewie, that was one of the best Stewie games I've seen in a long time.
That's very fair. Yeah, that's a fair.
Super efficient. Like great on the boards. I mean, Sabrina picked up right where she left off, kind of like off her 1 for 19. I think she went 3 for 12. So I mean, I think I'm with you in a sense of like, this team's not even close to peaking yet. So if this is where they're at right now, it's a great sign for the future.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to like unload on this because I don't think the number will get a ton shorter throughout the year. But I am going to add a little bit in the app after we finish recording here. But before we came on, it is still plus 230 at FanDuel, and I do think that number could get lesser by the end of the season. Sometimes with the favorites, I'm like, just wait it out. You'll get as good a number. Cleveland Cavaliers all year were saying you're not gonna get a short number because the Celtics exist. Here, the Liberty kind of are that team that the favorite that the number could get shorter for. So I'm gonna add a little bit on that. You don't need to go crazy. I think we'll still get chances to get more looks at them and bet it again as the season goes along.
Yeah, I mean, I say I'm not going to add anymore, but Matt Mitchell, if you're listening and you get the text, me saying, bet this for yourself and grab me, like just respond. So
there you go. Okay, talk to me about your first team that caught your eye over the opening weekend.
Yeah, I love being the hater on here. That would definitely be the Dallas Wings who just played tonight. Oh my God. Of course, I live in Dallas, and it's a nightmare to get to Arlington for a game. But the team's got such an identity issue, and like you have to play Enrique because of who she is, and she is the quote unquote star of this team. But I want to say she was like a -17 in the first half tonight. I don't know what she ended up being. I mean, she's had 2 super, super inefficient games to start this season. The ball is not moving crisply. I mean, they brought in a lineup today in the second quarter that was Tierra McCowan, who played 1 minute in the first game, by the way. Tierra McCowan, Maddie Westfeld, Maisha Hines-Allen, Ty Harrison-Page, and they went on a 9-0 run. They were it was like the one great feeling you probably had watching this game. And I mean, you have, Melissa Smith, she's a -14, Enrique, -15, Dejanay, who I've never really been on the Dejanay train. Like, I just don't think she's like that good of a player. Like not good enough to be a starter. I think she's a great role player. Good on defense, great, getting out and, finishing on fast breaks, but she's a -17. She was 2 for 8 tonight. But you have to love what you saw from Paige. Paige was fantastic. Got to the free throw line again, 7 for 14 from the field. Really creating and finding players. Finished with 8 assists tonight. This is a weird thing about rookies. You can say career high like every other night. But God, it is a rough team to watch. I think they gave up 50 points in the first half.
Yeah.
It's some of it's effort and some of it 56 points in the first half. Just, honestly, like, what are we doing? It's following up. You had a good chance. They beat the Lynx twice last year. Those are 2 of their 9 wins, which is insane.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Granted, one of those was a spot loss after the Lynx won the Commissioner's Cup.
Yeah.
But Lynx were down 2 starters, and you never felt worried about the Lynx, and Chris Kokanis has got a lot of work to do at figuring out what works for this team. But, my guy Doug Kazarian said it, like, you got to trade Enrique. Got to move on. Go all in on Paige. Work everything around her. You could probably get a first-round pick out of Golden State. I think Connecticut's got like a pick swap or something with Phoenix. Just go. It hasn't worked for years. And you got this gem of a player who is the closest thing everyone says to Caitlin Clark. We've seen how great she's been at the collegiate level. She's already finding her own. Like, just put the ball in her hands, let her cook, invest in the future around her. That's my take.
Yeah. Dallas, it really disappointing. One of these teams that before the season, the roster is there, but I do think that at the core of it, Enrique is a really, like, sometimes like there's a player you can build around and they like raise your floor enough and you make the playoffs and then that's what locks you in. Enrique isn't even that. Like, tonight was really, really bad. There were many times where late in the game, I think they were down 5, got the ball in transition, and she pulled up for a contested 3 with a teammate under the basket. And it's rough, man. I think she was 2 of 15 or maybe something. Tonight was like a really bad night in particular, but it is multiple seasons now of seeing some of this, and it probably has to change. I think I'm with you that, and sometimes those help the player too, is like get the fresh setting, give you a chance to kind of reset who you are, but it's not working in Dallas. So, all right, we're going to have really weird zags because the energy is going to go from team we're low on to team we're high on. I'm going to go to the Fever. The Fever, clearly we both like them. We're betting them today. My takeaway, this could be the second best team in the league. So we talked about the Liberty maybe being the best with what we saw from the Aces. My slight concern about the Lynx, this is probably the most unfair to the Lynx, who are 2-0, and really neither game has been all that close. But again, I do have some overarching worries there. But man, if this defense is at all what we saw in game 1, this team could be in the finals this year, certainly in the semifinals. I'll keep it brief because we both, touched on this as our best bet for a spread today. But I mean, the Fever look very, very good. 1 game sample, don't want to react. But I think even without an overreaction, would have them as the 3rd best team in the league right now. With, I want to see Minnesota. I want to see K-Mac back. But the Fever team looks really, really good.
Yeah. Sophie Cunningham hadn't came in and hit 3s yet. Yeah. I mean,
Bonner didn't shoot particularly well. They spread the ball around. 6 players had 9 field goal attempts. Lexi Hull looked good off the bench. Caitlin had her triple-double there. I mean, she's just moving the ball to 20 points. A lot to like in that first game. Now it's 1 game, and I might be a little lower in Chicago, so maybe that's maybe we see the market is right on this one, and Atlanta gives them a little scare on Tuesday here. But I think this Fever team is definitely well deservingly in that top tier, and maybe even second, maybe third in that tier overall. You want to go
I'm with
to the second team that you were skeptical of through this first weekend?
Chicago really let me down. I think they look horrendous. It's basically so much on Angel's shoulders, and as good as she is, you're not setting her up for success. You brought in vets to, they're talking about making the playoffs. All the hype in the offseason. Angel can't be shooting or leading the league in shot attempts, and you're expecting to be competitive with the contenders of this league. It's not a recipe for success. Defensively, a lot of players were lost. Granted, they just shot pretty poorly. But like Ariel Atkins, you're an all-star, you're an Olympian. Like, came in, hit a couple threes, and then just went, deathly quiet. I don't think they got Camilla in great opportunities there. I mean, it's just such a contrast from how they looked against the Lynx in the preseason. I know it's preseason, but both teams were playing starters. Yeah. So Salute looked very 2024 Salute. It's I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it, but team could really use Candy Carter.
Wow, they really
shout out Watts.
yeah, shout out Watts there. They really do. It does seem like that like Atkins is the piece that and you always look through the lens of what you bet on, and I bet on her points the first game, so I was watching with an extra eye. I was like, man, she didn't seem super engaged. I do think this is the team that I'm most prone to say I want to see game 2, because I'm with you. In the preseason, they actually did look decent, and the defense in particular looked really good. That's where I'm like, is the Fever offense that good, or was it only in a preseason environment? There are lots of ways it can go. I want to see a second game from them.
Well, their second game's against the Libs, so
yeah, it might not
who they beat. Who they beat like to start the year last year. Like, people forget they busted our ass at home.
Yeah,
this one's in Chicago, which I feel better about.
That's also fun to remember when we're doing these opening weekend takeaways that, Chicago beat New York in the opening weekend last year. So don't overly weigh these things too much. I'll zag back, though, and this one might be the one that I do think could age the worst of being high on, but it was the team that arguably impressed me the most compared to my exceeded expectations the most, we'll put it that way. The Phoenix Mercury. I was a little bit skeptical of this team's depth.
Yeah, you were.
Put to the test right away. Kalia Copper, going out with an injury. And I was worried. I was very worried about this team. But I'll say that some of these pieces are pretty impressive that have filled in here. Westbeld looked like a perfect fit at the 5. Mac was one of those players out who was supposedly the starting center. I think Westbeld might just hold on to that spot. She provides a little more shooting. Alyssa Thomas with space. Amazing. She's suddenly a scorer. She had one of her best scoring games in a while. Satu Sabali, that's the ceiling right there. She looked like a top 3 player in the league. If she's a top 3 player in the league, this team can float until Ka gets back. And then when they get Ka back, the ceiling is incredible. So this Storm team, on the flip side, I've had a couple of people message me, we worried about our Storm futures. I'm not worried. I'll say that. They did bounce back with a win and a cover on Monday night, but it really didn't look all that pretty. The offense looks really bad. The second half against Dallas there, the offense really kind of ground to a halt. I don't really know what's going on with rotations there. Noah Quinn, I really want to see a little bit more like experimentation from her, because I have not been super impressed in these first couple games. So Phoenix, maybe they just caught a Seattle team that in hindsight we're going to be, they're not that good. And, AT is awesome, Satu is awesome, but the depth pieces don't look as good against other teams. But I really liked what I saw from them. And mostly in those depth pieces really looked like they could actually hold up. And Satu and AT obviously look great. They're, probably 2 of the 5 to 7 best players in the league. So that wasn't surprising. But overall, I was really impressed with them. Did they catch your eye as well?
No, 100%. I mean, just it's what the Dream want to be. Like, as far as like free flowing, getting good shots. Shout out. I feel like everyone's going to call her Alexa Healed, but Lexi Healed from like I can't believe that I'm so happy she's found a place in the WNBA. She was part of many DePaul teams that made me so much money betting women's college basketball, betting on the overs. I mean, she's got just a sniper. Like she's incredible, and she can finish. I mean, they're like, I'm just super impressed with that front office because I mean there were some definite questions coming out of I mean I think everyone was like, well, who do they got after the starting five? They got dogs. So yeah, I'm with you. You know, I could transition right into my hate of Seattle. But I do want to be positive. So, I mean, after this, just remind me that I want to talk about the Mystics at some point.
Yes.
But yeah, Seattle, like, let me know right now if everything I read from all these people who know so much ball that Malunga is not that good. Everything I read said she should be able to come in and add value right away. That did not look like a player as advertised. If she's not good, let me know now. If she's just big,
1 minute tonight. She got 1
what
minute.
What the hell are we doing?
Scored one basket. 1 minute was 1 for 1, and got a rebound and a turnover. In all fairness, and a foul. She was busy in that 1 minute, and then she came right out. Not loving it. Not loving the rotations there.
Yeah, imagine Sonia Citron coming out the bench for that team. God damn. But like, I mean, the one super positive, I feel like NECA, like she's always been the most consistent player like in this league for years. Like you're gonna get a solid game out of NECA, but to start the season, Skylar's been phenomenal, and she was phenomenal last year. I think she was the one thing keeping them afloat the entire season. So I mean, it's good to see her still playing at a super high level. Like, credit to Paige for playing as well as she did on offense tonight, but nobody could stop her tonight, at least against Dallas. And I mean, Skylar still had a good game against Phoenix. She just got zero help. So I'm with you on Noah Quinn. It's like, do something. And granted, Dallas, I think we've figured out is kind of the bottom of the barrel until they start making some moves. So I don't know how much stock we can put into this game. But, you know, helps that at least Seattle gets to play them, I think, 3 more times for your futures.
Rack up a few more wins. Yeah. All right, let's give you a chance to be positive. Let's have this be our last team. This was maybe the most like fun team of the weekend. You referenced one of their rookies already, Washington Mystics, 2-0. I'm not sure if we'll get undefeated season from them. We'll have to see if they get to 44-0. But 2 very fun wins and just like a really fun team right now. Were they your kind of favorite team from the opening weekend?
Absolutely adored watching them. I don't know how many times I, freaked out, doubled down some more on that Connecticut game, and I was so thankful that they came out on top. They started out 18-4.
Yeah, it was. I was like, dead in the first quarter. It.
Letdown spot after the win against the Dream, but like I don't think enough can be said about the 2 rookies, but I mean, got to give Brittany Sykes her flowers. Holy shit! Yeah. Like,
could she lead the league in scoring?
I don't know why not. Like, Washington should be tanking. They should be tanking the next 2 years. Bring Juju in alongside your studs that you got coming up. Like, but Brittany Sykes is like the last person you want on your team if that's going to happen. I feel like in the fourth quarter of
too much
the Dream game, all the Dream were doing was giving Brittany Griner the ball. I think Brittany Griner took like 9-10 shots in the fourth quarter. Like it was so slow. And Brittany Sykes gets the ball, makes one crossover or goes off one screen, is immediately getting fouled or making a layup. And there's only like 5 players I can count on, or no less than that, like that I think I trust to go get a bucket at the end of the game. Guard wise, I think it's like Caitlin, Brittany. I don't even trust Sabrina anymore. Give her some time. But like maybe KP, those 3. Like I trust them at least getting to the line and making something happen. Chelsea Gray when she's super healthy.
Yeah,
she's so good and obviously a leader. And then like we love Sonya. I mean, I put a bet on her to win Rookie of the Year immediately after the first game. Also bet Sydney Johnson to win Coach of the Year. I tried to get it at 60-1. MGM turned down my bet and then moved the odds, of course. Classic. But like, they are just a joy to watch. Just fun players. Stephanie Dolson always adding value. Jade Melbourne.
She can shoot now. She can make threes. That's huge if she can.
Yeah.
Kiki,
shout out to Seattle. Trade her away for peanuts.
Yeah, Kiki at Stanford looked so good, and I was so high on her. And then she had a little bit of an off year at USC. She looks back like Stanford. She looks aggressive. She looks great. She got good turnaround jumper in the post. Yeah, this Washington team, I don't think they're gonna. I think at some point they're gonna realize that they want picks. I think they're gonna realize what you've been saying, and like, you know, Sykes is gonna roll an ankle and she's gonna be out for a month or something like that. But I think they're going to cover a lot of games. I think this is, you know, shout out Watts again. This was last year, the first half. You bet them in the first half and they lose the full game. I think that could be a play again. Just a fun, spunky Mystics team. This is how you build a fan base too, is you make a really fun team that's really bad, and then they get really good picks, and then they get good and they're still fun. I'm all about the future of the Mystics. I think it could be really fun. So if you're in DC, hop aboard right now and enjoy this team.
They also get the Valks next. That's a win.
Wow, like, they get 3-0.
Yeah. Then the Aces, Mercury, Fever, Libs.
Might have to cash out that win total bet after 3-0.
Yeah. First person to reply to any of my tweets or just tweet at me, Bananas is getting this numbered Aaliyah Edwards rookie card.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that you just have a card for every possible moment. You're like, boom, I got this incredibly valuable, sweet card.
Banana is a code word. Tweet it at me, DM me, and I will send you this. It's a gorgeous card. But anyways, yes, love the Mystics. Yeah, I mean they're I don't know who they would compare them to last year. Like young, fun. I mean, I don't know. I haven't felt this way about a young, like, frisky team. Maybe them, because they started the season 0-12 and then they flirted with making playoffs.
Yeah. And this is, imagine if we'd had Georgia Amore too. This team is going to be so fun in a couple seasons. So very much with that. Love that I gave you a chance to end on positive vibes there. We will be back on Thursday with Fiddle, or I guess Friday in your feed. We'll record Thursday night with Fiddle, talk about some small sample size stuff, some market stuff. Again, if you looked at tail any of the bets that we talked about today, look for the quick slip link in the episode description. We'll also be posting in the app, Dano and myself. So you'll probably, hopefully, have already been on those. Download the app. If somehow you are listening to all of this, you don't have the app, download the app. I spend like half my day in there, I feel like. If you're watching on YouTube, watch it, like and subscribe. Thanks to David Payne. Thanks to Gifford Ghoul on the YouTube side. And for now, let's get buckets.